Yes, I would. I would love to. Our Pokédjacent topic for this evening um, are about our little favorite ghosties. So, Sean and I both found like three different ghosts that move us, that speak to us, that whisper something spectral into our dark, dark hearts. So I'll go first. I'll give you like I focused just on Pokemon. So out of the like three ghosts that really stick out to me in the Pokemon world, I didn't choose any of my favorite. Like Gengar is a favorite because Gengar is a ridiculous
Overpowered.
hooligan. Yeah, an
Yes.
overpowered hooligan. Really a teenager, a dead teenager on crack.
Mm-hmm.
But
Fair.
I chose three other favorite ghost Pokemon. Miss Magius, ghost type Pokemon from Generation 4. It looks like it's wearing a witch hat. It evolves from Miss Drevis when exposed to a dusk stone. It's great. I particularly have one in Pokemon Go that I love very deeply because it's great. It does good things for me. Chandelure, which is a ghost fire Pokemon introduced in Generation 5. It's the final form of Litwick. So it goes from Litwick to Lampent to Chandelure after exposed to a dusk stone. In
It sounds like
Pokemon
the
Sword and
pre-evolution
Shield,
to Nicolas Cage and Ghost Rider. It's a ghost fire Pokemon.
yeah, it
That's what
actually
it
looks a
is.
lot like you could imagine it becoming Ghost Rider.
That's his
Chandelure,
max. What's it? The Super Max evolution or whatever the heck they call those is ghost.
Gigantamax.
It's just giant
It's
Nicolas Cage with a
Gigantamax
flaming
form.
skull head.
I wish there was a real Gigantamax evolution for Chandelure because in Pokemon Sword and Shield, in the ones I have Chandelure like Dynamaxed out because he's a fantastic one to get big with Max Flare. And then my last little ghosty Pokemon, and it's very sad, is one of the Pokemon that really reflect on our time, and also one that shows that even the Pokemon world is highly influenced by our own world, and that's Corsola.
Oh.
Corsola, first shown in Generation 3, is a water rock type. It's coral. It's meant to be coral, right? In Generation 3, it's very smiley. It's white and pink. It's very cute. Um, in the Galar region, it is a ghost type. And it's this white, pale little thing that evolves into this even more sickly looking coral tree. And it's meant to be a reflection on, coral reefs are dying because we suck at taking care of things, humans, which Pokemon is also a sad testament to in a lot of ways. Um, so the Galar region has Corsola with a ghost form. That's very depressing because um, the Galarian Corsola as a ghost type is basically the original Corsola but dead. It's very dark.
That's
As
horrifying.
often as often, a lot of the Pokédex entries are very dark and depressing, and this is one of them. Actually, the Pokédex entry for the Galar region says the following: watch your step when wandering areas oceans once covered. What looks like a stone could be this Pokemon, and it will curse you if you kick it. And then in
Yeah,
Shield,
James.
sudden climate change wiped out this ancient kind of Corsola. This Pokemon absorbs others' life force through its branches. By the way, Pokemalarkey listeners, if you haven't gone through the terrifying tales that are the Pokedex entries,
Horrifying.
go take a look. Some of
Absolutely.
them are
Don't read
really,
them before bed.
some of them are really dark.
May I suggest just a like a Watch Mojo top 10 crazy Pokédex? It won't give you the whole picture, but you get a nice teaser of that.
That's a good idea. Another ghost Pokemon, Driftbloom, is basically like the balloon from it,
Yeah,
and it will take your kids.
it's
Watch
horrifying.
out. Anyway, so those are my like three ghost Pokemon that I really love. I almost always have in my Sword and Shield my Sword and Shield gang, a Chandelure, sometimes a Corsola, depending on my mood. but I almost always have the Chandelure because I love the like demented Chandelure. It's very campy, very gay, very fun. So I've got to have it.
That's beautiful. I did go outside of Pokemon top 3. Number 3 is the one I want to spend at least a minute talking about. The other two will go faster. Number 3 is Scapegoat, which is a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Who's technically a zombie, but he has ghost in the name. It's Scapegoat, but it's a monster type with a flip effect, and he's a tuner. He's a 1-star tuner. I use a zombie deck where I very badly need more dark tuners than I have. It's basically him and Unizombie. And don't tell me about Trap Zombie or the Trap Eater. I can't play that in my deck. It's just not going to work. But yeah, so this is adorable little Scapegoat, and he's a tuner, and then you flip him, and you can summon as many as you have space for tokens, one star ghost type Scapegoat tokens, and it just strikes me as adorable, and it's an impactful card to me, even though it never works as good as I want. Number 2 is the Flying Dutchman from SpongeBob, because he is one of my favorite side characters in all of cartoons. I love the Flying Dutchman. And number 1 is Haunter, since I saw this episode. If not then definitely since I played the game, because like I said, Haunter and Kadabra, I would go out of my way to find an Abra and grab a Ghastly, evolve them up immediately, and I didn't have friends so at least ones that had Game Boys, so I would cap out at Kadabra and Haunter. But then this episode, or really, and we'll touch on it a little more in the next episode of why I like him so much, shows through more in the next episode. But he is just my favorite ghost in fiction.
I would just like to call everyone's attention to, first of all, if you don't like SpongeBob, get out here. This isn't for you. You're not allowed to hear us talk. But second of all, the introduction we have to the Flying Dutchman is literally one of my favorite things to ever happen in cartoons, mainly because Patrick and SpongeBob get taken, and Squidward gets taken too, and he doesn't want to get taken, and like he gets put into I think it's the Fly of Despair, and like the Flying Dutchman unzips it, and Squidward's like, "Oh, what is that?" And he's like complaining, and he throws Squidward in there, and Squidward just and he's like screaming on the way down, and it is absolutely horrifying. And SpongeBob and Patrick, of course, are terrified, and like Squidward is so scared. And that's the one where they wish, and eventually Squidward falls through this terrifying Fly of Despair, makes it back home, and he goes, "Okay, I'm back home." And of course, they wish Squidward was back there, and he gets back there, and he's very upset. I love the Flying Dutchman episodes, Sean. That is a great pick.
Thank you. I really thought you'd appreciate
a very good pick.
He does such a good job, or they do such a good job of taking this sort of centuries old horrifying legend that probably used to actually give people nightmares and turning him into a tremendous comic relief.
Well, you've seen, if any of you have seen Pirates of the Caribbean, the Black Pearl, not the Black Pearl, the Flying Dutchman is a villain and a ship.
And so they said I'm not versed in pirate lore, but I presume that the seeds of the Flying Dutchman were probably very terrifying to people who sailed the high seas at one point. Jesse, I know we're a smidge over time, but I need just a minute. I would be remiss if I didn't mention some other fictional ghosties that we love. They just didn't have a spot in our top 3s, and that's fine. But I've got, of course, Nearly Headless Nick, or whichever your Harry Potter ghost is your choice. That's all fine. Phantomon is the terrifying phantom ghost Pokemon or ghost Digimon that one. He like pulls Myotismon's carriage, and he's horrifying looking. Bakamon is stupid. I'm not a fan of that. Weird and Bogle from the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo. That's a good one. Or the Boo Brothers from another Scooby-Doo movie. That's good. And of course Casper. I wrote down Casper, the age-old. Casper was probably the first like pop culture kid cartoon ghost. I'm just guessing. I don't actually know that.
That feels right. And can I humbly add in another cartoon
as
favorite?
Many as
Danny
you want.
Phantom.
I love Danny Phantom. I used to have such a big crush on his mom, and there's a weird corner of the internet for people like me.
Yeah, I love that you had a crush on his mom, because me as a child, I definitely had a big-ass crush on Danny Phantom.
He's a handsome guy.
A lot of the internet has a crush on Danny Phantom and his dad.
The dad I don't get.
I've seen some sick stuff.
The dad I don't get at all. But Danny himself, especially at the white hair, he's got a great look to him. That's a great addition Thank you for noting that. We're
I
right.
want to take your pickles. Squidward when he pretends to be the Flying Dutchman in the very first episode of the very first SpongeBob Halloween episode.
It's incredible. Go watch him.